Popka here, welcoming you back to another episode of Viridian Flashback. If you're a gamer around my age, chances are you've spent most of your youth in an arcade. Now almost scarce, back then an arcade was an awesome place to spend your weekends, hanging with friends and playing new and exciting games, from fighters, racers, shooters, and more. If there was one arcade game, however, that captivated me back in my youth, it was the light gun shooter Silent Scope. Created by Konami and released in 1999, Silent Scope puts you in the shoes of a government-trained sniper. Your job is to save the president and his family from evil terrorists. Not the most gripping story, but for an arcade game, it works.
The police are returning fire. Please provide backup.
What made Silent Scope more unique than its other shooter brethren was the light gun itself. Shaped like a sniper rifle, it had an actual working scope that you had to look through to play the game, making headshots much more fun to obtain. Silent Scope was a big hit, meaning of course there were sequels. They improved on the gameplay a little bit with each game, but the story was pretty much the same: defeat the terrorists. But story is not the main selling point for arcade games, is it? The Silent Scope series even made its way home with console ports for the PlayStation 2 and the Dreamcast. Hell, it's even on the Game Boy Advance. But it's the subject of today's episode we'll be talking about, Silent Scope Complete, because, well, it's on the Xbox. Released on February 10th, 2004, Complete is what the name implies. The entire Silent Scope series, 1, 2, 3, and EX on one collection, with extra modes for each game, like training and time attack modes. The gameplay is intact from the arcade, however, going from a sniper light gun to a controller can be a little jarring, since playing light gun games with a controller has never been easy. Here it's passable, with the ability to zoom the scope in and out and to speed up the cursor. If you can find one online, they did make a light gun rifle for the Xbox specifically for this game. However, any Xbox light gun can work, so it's still a step up from the other games. However, from what I've heard, the scope part on the rifle really doesn't work that well, so your better bet is to just either play with a controller or stick with a regular light gun. So it sort of plays like you remember, but does it look and sound the same also? Graphically, it's arcade perfect. For back then. It's old and somewhat blocky compared to today's graphics, but for me it's charming. Same goes for the audio. It's cheesy as all get up, but it's like a blast into pure gaming nostalgia. I love it.
What's he doing out there? Is he a freelance sniper?
Go, dog. Don't interrupt my work. I can't believe that you've stopped me in the middle of my plan, but it's not over yet. I won't soon forget either of your faces, and I shall return and have my revenge another day.
So overall, is Silent Scope Complete worthy of perching up on your shelf? Well, it all depends on how much you want to pay for nostalgia. If you're okay with just the controller, the game goes for about $30 new or $3 used on Amazon excluding shipping. If you want the complete package, the gun goes for about $50 new and $20 used. It all depends on how much you want to pay. But don't get me wrong, it's still a fun game and I highly recommend it. I'm just saying that you can play with the controller, it's not that bad. Before I end the episode, I actually wanted to give a special shout out to the guys down at the Game Cove and Collectibles here in Brownsville. They're where I've been buying a lot of my Xbox games, and they got some really cool stuff. Retro gaming, current gaming, collectibles, toys, figurines, all that great stuff. So if you want to find them on Facebook, you can, under Game Cove. Give them a check out, they're really cool guys. And I'm sure they would love your patronage. Well, as always, I'm the Dali Popka, and if you want to play retro, try going green. See you next time.